Nesma means the breeze of something new, a new fresh air of democracy, of youth. We are the first private network to have been established in Tunisia, my homeland, where I have filmed so many films like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, The Life of Brian, Jesus of Nazareth. And I came to the conclusion that Nesma was necessary. Because North Africa, for your viewers, is 90 million people. And I mean Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. The greatest part of the Arab world is in North Africa. If you add to that Egypt, that's another 80 million. That's 170 million people. The entire Arab world is 330. So I said to myself that North Africa needed a television that speaks to its people. What do we mean by that? A language which is not necessarily Arabic. It is a dialect of Arabic. It's North African Arabic. And because North Africa was colonized 130 years by the French, French is also a language that we use.
So your TV is bilingual?
My TV uses the language of the street. If my guest speaks his Algerian or his Tunisian or his Moroccan accent, he's welcome. But if he doesn't find the words and uses French, he's welcome. And if he speaks an Arabic that is Egyptian, he's welcome. What that has done, as we know, television is something that has to be close to the population. We wanted to have a free TV that was modern, that was against extremism. We wanted to show a face of Islam that was moderate, that was open, that women are free. Tunisia is the example of freedom of women, the example of free press, free speech. We wanted to really give our viewers, and it is a success. We are the first satellite channel today in North Africa. After 10 years where Al Jazeera, NBC have been number one, we are now number one, sometimes number two, depending, of course, on the programs. And we're beating even the terrestrial channels, and I mean by that the local state-owned channels, because they are all state-owned in North Africa.
But what's been the reaction of some Islamic regimes who perhaps are not very happy to have a very Western-oriented TV broadcasting 24 hours a day, or however many hours you broadcast, over the entire North Africa, part of North Africa?
Well, first of all, there are no Islamic regimes in North Africa. Let's say that there are some conservative minorities who, of course, are not happy that we are a open, free, non-religious, but respectful. We are a North African television that respects our culture, our religion, our languages, and our environment. But what we wanted to do is give space to the youth. Let me give you some numbers. 60% of the population of these 90 million people are under 25. 40% are under 15. Let me also give you some interesting numbers. The average European viewer is in front of the television, these are statistics, 3 hours and 40 minutes. The average North African viewer is 6 hours and 30 minutes. So we have so much to give them. And then there's another thing. What do we see today when Europe opened? Immigration. Young people cannot travel. A young Tunisian, a young Moroccan that wants to be anything, wants to go to London, wants to go to Paris, cannot get a visa. That is a problem.
So, by watching your television, he's getting a window on another world.
That's what we hope to do. We hope to help him understand what's happening overseas, be faithful to what he is, not be frustrated, and get a view. We're in a world where internet is giving him all this information. Let's help these viewers be entertained and be educated.
What sort of pressures, though, are you having from the Middle East, from some other countries? They can't be entirely happy to have a private enterprise TV risking to take away their audiences.
It's competition, it's... you see that every day. Certainly they're not happy that a private network, and also we're the only network to have a foreign investor as part of that. We own 75%. We Tunisians own 75% of the network. But I wanted to ally myself with a big media group that is based in the Mediterranean, Spain and Italy, like Mediaset. where all these channels...
So you teamed up with Mr. Berlusconi?
I teamed up with Mr. Berlusconi media empire, and not with the politician, of course, who was very much in favor, understanding how important it is to have the southern coast of the Mediterranean avoid clashes, culture clashes. You know, we read about clashes of civilizations, and we can avoid that if we understand each other. And television is an incredible tool that could be negative and it can be positive. I believe that a modern, open, non-fundamentalist, yet respectful television that speaks to the youth, that speaks to the families, entertaining, giving them films, fiction, sports, news, but also showing them who they are in their environment, not only the other world that they cannot touch and they cannot reach or they cannot have access to, that would provoke frustration. After all, English television doesn't show you what the Italians do, only it shows you what the English want. English viewers, English stories, English films, English media, and English fiction. We want to do the same. Human beings want the same kind of input. And sometimes the BBC, and in the case of the BBC World, shows the world to the British so they get to understand the world.
So you regard yourself as a public service broadcaster, even though you're a commercial broadcaster?
I've never thought of that, but it's a good point. Aren't we all media people? Don't we all have some form of responsibility of having a sort of public service, common sense to give? You enter people's homes, you speak to their mothers, to their wives, to their children. We should have some sense of responsibility that what we tell them has to be quite true and certainly not negative. And I think in our countries where they're young, we need to be very careful.
Mr. Benama, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.